in the Shulchan Aruch it's brought down that women, because they were so much a part of the miracle, that they should not do work for the first half an hour while the candles are burning. In some places, men also don't do work. It really defeats the whole Persumenisa. As you light the candles, and then what do? Get back to doing your accounting, get back to work, get back to business. You know, you're an accountant. Good guess. And that's right, Bezrat Hashem, you try. That's part of the Oragonas of Chanukah, it just comes down.
Is it true Klal Yisrael is described as an Eishes Chaim?
We are, yeah. And therefore, lefi that drosha, we also shouldn't do work at the time where the candles are burning. Does that mean if you got candles that are going to burn for 7 hours, that you don't do malach for 7 hours? It means the first half an hour, because that's the ikra din. However, there are people who mamish did not do malacha, like while the candles are burning. What about making latkes? I mean, while the candles are burning. So the poskim say that really you could do that. It's not called work, because that's in the spirit of Chanukah. That's mamish in the spirit of Chanukah. To have the Rebbetzins fire latkes. Come on, Rabbi Isa. You had those? Mm-hmm. Next level. Shlomo, those are good. Next, fly back just for that. That's the real kiruv, you know what I'm saying? Latkes with some sour cream. You think we think it's the Torah that's makarev. It's a halal like Rabbi Willig's halal this morning. The real kiruv is the latkes. A good chulent. That's what helped, that's the whole mindset. When something is made with love, you feel it. You feel it. So let's go inside Rabbi Isai. And we're going inside. We already saw the dream of Pharaoh. But now, if that was not enough to go inside the mind of Pharaoh, we're actually now going to encounter the dark side of Egypt. So what happened? V'hinech Elohim. And he woke up. V'yihi ba boiker, and it was in the morning. It's verse 8. It's Genesis 41, verse 8. V'yihi ba boiker, v'tipoem ruchoi. And Pharaoh, who had this dream, was now shaken a bit. V'yishlach v'yikra es kol chartumei Mitzrayim. Now it's interesting, when Pharaoh was shaken up, who's the first one that he sends a message to?
The necromancers.
The necromancers.
Never heard that word, man.
Necromancers, we're going to see in a moment what the necromancers mean. They're not good. You want to say no to necromancers. This would be people that are into black magic. Okay, just say no to drugs, my friends. But it's interesting that when somebody would have been troubled, where do you go when you're troubled? He didn't go to God. He didn't go to speak to his therapist. He didn't go to speak to his Rabbi. He went to those that had the powers of black magic. And black magic is a type of quick fix. I'd like to suggest that we have something similar today. When a person is troubled, where does he go? He goes to his vape. And he goes to take a hit from the bong. He goes to Cheech and Chong. That might be before your time. When you guys were in diapers.
I'm not sure. I think is this some sort of like Chinese version?
You're so pure. Oh Hashem.
Or
he goes to watch a movie or something, or he's troubled, so he's looking for blessing. He's looking for a way out of that. So how does he get out of that? Sadly, many people, they hit the bottle. They're looking for a quick fix. So In those days, in ancient Egypt, what was the quick fix? Is you go to the magicians, because they're going to set you straight. So who are these Chartume Mitzrayim? Okay, look at Rashi. This gets a bit spooky. Chartume. The word Chartume is actually a split of two words. Char and Tume. So these were the magicians, says Rashi. Hanecherim b'timei mesim. Necherim means to warm oneself up. To get warmed up. What would they warm themselves by? The tume. Tume is an Aramaic word also for bones. These people would warm themselves up by the bones. Let's see what that means. I know this sounds, excuse my French, whack. What would they do? They would place a bone of a dead person in their beis hashechi, which is either their thigh or their, they'd place it in a certain area of their body. Vishoylin ba'atzamus. They would speak to the bones. It's not cool. Not cool. They would speak to the bones. And the bones would indicate the future to them. This is black magic. This is classic black magic.
Well, there's too many things wrong with that so far. I'm saying, if that's the thing, that it's in no creation of the world.
Yeah, but God said, stay away from black magic. Stay away. They're not allowed to do this. Because they were drawing on the spirit of the dead person. Drawing on the spirit of the dead person to teach them things and tell them what's going on. Which is also one of the ideas that the dead, they see what's going on. They're not limited by a physical body anymore. So they do see. So yeah, just because you could hack the system doesn't mean you should.
We go to Kabbalah.
We're not putting any bones in our, and then asking them the future.
Why did
And for free will. Yeah, mamish. It's the same way, yeah.
Like the Yale Secret Society, like the Skull and Bones Society, like the Bush family was involved. Like they had all these.
Skull and bones. Generally, skull and bones is something that you see on a poison container. That's usually a marking to say, stay away from this thing. It's skull and bones. Okay. Time. So Rashi now goes into the etymological root of this word. Time heinat samus b'loshen aromi. Time means bones in Aramaic, which means that you see the Torah also has Aramaic in it. Ube Mishnah, Beis Baishu Male Tamaya, a house that was filled with bones. So Chartume, the necromancers, were people that were communicating with the bones. And Pharaoh, in a time of need, was going to seek counsel by these chevra. This is not where you want to be going. But he went. Because what did he need? He needed somebody to interpret his dream. Because he was bugging out. That's a technical term. Yeah, Ozzy?
We believe that they were actually doing it? Or some they were just
For sure.
we believe they were capable?
Of course. And they were the greatest magicians in the land. That's why Moshe came and he threw his snake down. He threw his staff down and turned into a snake. And he's like, what? You're coming to do your magic in Mitzrayim? What, you're selling? It's like snow to the Inuits. We got no shortage of magicians over here, Moshe. We can all turn our staves into snakes. The only problem was, they all did that, and then Moshe's staff ate up all their snakes, which is another miracle. It wasn't that the snake ate up their snakes. It went into a staff and then ate the snakes. Where's the mouth of a staff? They could. And stay away from them. Wow, fresh fade. It's good. Okay, so this is the first place that Pharaoh goes, to the Chartume Mitzrayim. Ves kol chachameya, and to all the wise people in Mitzrayim. V'yisaper Pharaoh lahem es chaloimoy, and he told them his dream. Ve'ein poiser oisam leParoi, and nobody gave an explanation to Pharaoh. Does this mean nobody offered an explanation? Look at Rashi. Ve'ein poiser oisam, and nobody explained it leParoi. You could have just said, Ve'ein poiser oisam. There was none that explained it. What's leParoi? To Pharaoh. So Rashi says, Poisrim hayu oisam. There was no shortage of people that were giving their explanation. Meaning, if you're a black magician and Pharaoh comes to you, you're going to come up with all sorts of stuff. You don't want to look like a fool in the eyes of Pharaoh. Aval, however, loy leParoi. They all gave explanations, but it wasn't leParoi. It didn't resonate with Pharaoh. Shaloi hayu koilam nichnas be'oznov. That their voice, i.e., the explanation that they gave for the dream, did not go into his ears spiritually. V'loi hayaloi koiris ruach. He didn't have pleasure. He didn't feel that their explanation was emes. Bepisroinam. Shahayu oimrim. Rashi actually says some of their explanations. What did they say? They said, "Oh, Pharaoh, you know what your dream means? Sheva bonus ata moilid, you're going to have 7 daughters. The Sheva bonus ata koiver, and you're going to bury 7 daughters." So they were going with the 7. He didn't feel that they were on to something.
How do we have this?
Because Rashi heard from his tati, who 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 heard from Moshe Rabbeinu.
Moshe was there for this?
Moshe had the Masorah. And remember, at Har Sinai, Hashem told Moshe everything. So there was no shortage of people that were trying to provide an explanation of the dream, which you see that dream interpretation is something that, and by the way, we learn out many, many halachas about if somebody has a bad dream, that they should go to somebody who's not necessarily wise, because he went to the Chachameh, but somebody who also has a love for that person, who's here to help that person. And somebody who loves that person but is not wise is also a problem. You got to go to somebody who has love and has wisdom. Of course, that's Yosef at Tzaddik, which we'll see in a moment. He had love for human beings, and he saw a plan. He saw a vision. Remember, Yosef is the mashbir. He saw that he knew through Masorah that the Jewish nation was going to go down to Mitzrayim. He saw the whole plan happening. And he's going to set up that the Jews coming down to Mitzrayim would be set up in Goshna by the dreidel. And they'd be able to sit and learn Torah. And there'd be financial abundance for the Jewish nation. So says the Pasuk, what happens all of a sudden? V'yedaber Sarah Mashkin. Remember the cupbearer? All of a sudden the cupbearer pulls up again. Espar lemor. And the cupbearer says the following, Eschato'ai ani mazkir hayoim. My sin, I must mention today. What was the sin of the cupbearer?
The fly in the wine?
Is that he let a fly into the wine of Pharaoh.
Why? Did he try to kill him?
He missed it. What was the sin of the baker? There's a pebble, a stone inside the bread. Why is a stone inside the bread more severe? It's a real health hazard. And here it was already something in the dough The cupbearer, as he brought the cup, everything could have been fine. It could have been a last second move by the fly. That you didn't catch this pebble from the very get-go and you let it get to the plate of Pharaoh, that's a much bigger sin. But even still, it's a big problem that a person here said, I will let this fly end up in the cup. I should have had one last look before I gave it to Pharaoh. So he says that I'm mentioning it today. Why is he mentioning it? Pharaoh got upset and angry at his servants. V'yiten oisi b'mishmar, and you placed me in the dungeons. Yeah. That's called a mishmar, a protection. You put me into the. A mishmar means to protect. So he went into the auspices of who? Beisara Tabachim, the minister of the Fleishiks. Of course, who is the Sara Tabachim? And who was he? Who's the Sara Tabachim? It was Potiphar. Oh, you see? The Sara Oifim. He put myself and the Sara Ha'oifim, the baker, the royal baker. And we both had a dream that night. Each one of us with an explanation to our dream. And with us in the dungeon. Now look at the language of referring to Yosef. Anar Ivri, some Jew boy. He calls him a nar. He says Jew boy. Oh, Jew boy? Oh, look at Rashi. It's all coming from a Rashi. Nar. Why did he speak in such a not nice way? He was telling him that you're a shoite. Ve'ein roi legedula. Even though Yosef was obviously a big person, and he knew that, and he saw that Yosef interpreted the dreams perfectly, he still felt that we have to put down this Jew boy. Nar. He's not going to become anything, you know. This nar, this Jew boy in the dungeons. Little did he know what's going to happen. Ivri, a Jew. He doesn't even say his name. Afil l'shaynenu ein mazkir. Doesn't even say who it is. He wanted to also point out he's not even one of us. He's not even a Mitzri. He's this Jew boy. Evid, and he's an Evid. Why was he also pointing out that he was an Evid?
There's no class mobility in Mitzrayim.
Oh, very good. That's beautifully said. There's no class mobility in Mitzrayim. How does he know that? You also learn Rashi. Because Rashi says, Kosa bin Nemuse Mitzrayim. It says in the royal laws of Egypt, She'ein Evid Moilech, that an Evid, that a slave, can never become a king. V'loi loivish bigdei sarim, and he's not able to wear clothing of a king. And he was saying that this Jew boy, who's a slave, he'll never amount to anything.
Go pretty close to the king.
It's like kind of like preemptive, like very preemptive. Like you might have this guy who might read your dreams, never let him anywhere close to our like it's such borderline nevuah to say like this one thing is going to lead to such a upward progression.
Maybe what he was doing as he was trying to stand on the shoulders of Yosef, is that he realized that, just let's backtrack a little bit. Pharaoh has this wild dream. He goes to every single one of the idol worshippers and the necromancers of Egypt. Nobody gives Pharaoh something that touches his soul. So what does he say? He thinks to himself, he's like, I don't even have to say this right now. Why did he even say it?
To sabotage Joseph, just in case like he was correct, so like he wouldn't rise the ranks and usurp them.
I'm thinking that he was like he was going to social climb. Is that he's going to say, I can give the king a good lead, and then I'll get a good commission on this, because I gave the king a good lead, because he knew that Yosef is somebody. But let me make sure that once the king has a vision of Yosef, that he understands that Yosef, don't ever make him big, because he's a nar, ivri, evid. So that I'll all be the social climb. Remember, this guy's a sar. He's a minister already. He's the sar, a mashkin. He's already a chushav, a guy in Mitzrayim.
Did they put him back in the same position after jail?
Yeah. He went back to bearing the cup. Ish kachaloimoi. Each person he gave an excellent explanation. V'shami tananar ivri eved l'sara tabachim v'nisaper loy v'yifter lanu v'schalamoy seinu ish kachaloimoi posar. And as he explained it, it happened. Vayikasher posar lanu kein hayo. And as Yosef explained it, this is what happened. Exactly as he said. Oisi heishiv al kani. I came back to my position. V'oisai tala. And the other one, he was hung. What does Pharaoh do immediately? So he sends his henchmen. Now it's interesting because why would he send it to some Eved, Ivri, some Nar? Maybe you could say when somebody is troubled, they get desperate. I'll take help from anybody. I'll take help from anybody. He was mamish desperate. I'll take help from anybody. V'yishlach Paroi, and Pharaoh sent v'yikras Yosef, and they sent now for Yosef, and they say here Yosef. They call Yosef out by name. V'yiritzu min abor, and they quickly bring him from the pit. It happens fast. Bring him fast. Min abor, says Rashi. Min abor, min beis hasoyar, from the dungeons. Shehu asuikim in guma, because the dungeons were deep in the ground. In Egypt, they'd throw you deep into the pit of the earth. A bor means a guma. V'chein kol bor shebemikra loshen gumahu. Anytime that it says bor in the Torah, it means a guma. It's any type of a pit. Where else do we see this? Yosef Tzaddik? By the pit, which means usually a guma is associated with water. But we know, habor reik, ein boy mayim. If Yosef is thrown into the pit, there's no water. Well, what's the famous question? If it's empty, of course there's no water. Yeah, there's no water. B'nachashim ve'akravim yesh boy. Snakes and scorpions there is. There's no water. It's empty of water, but it's not empty of snakes and scorpions. It's not empty of skull and bones. And look what happens immediately. V'yegaleh, they give him a haircut. There are many Hasidim that have a custom dafka to get a haircut certain times of the year. One of the times that they get a haircut, Skver does this, is in Parshas Miketz, in honor of Yosef's haircut. Michael, you knew. You knew. Fresh fade. Let's go. I'm telling you, there's a custom people get this week. Haircuts. 0 fades on the top. V'yachalif sim loisav, and they changed his clothing. which means he was taken out of his prison garb, out of his rags, and he's given kingly garments to wear. V'yovay el Paroi, and in 1 second, he's standing in front of Paroi with a fresh fade and some Louis Vuitton on. He's Louis out mamish. In 1 second, he's drippy. End of the first aliyah. You know, one of the chizuks that we get from this is even if you think that you're mamish in a pit, in a dungeon somewhere, spiritually, emotionally, in 1 second, because of the light of Chanukah, you could get pulled out of a pit and you could be standing in the most chashuv position in the entire world in a second. And they rushed him out of the pit with a fresh fade and new clothing, and all of a sudden he's standing by Pharaoh. V'yigalach. Look what Rashi says. 3-word Rashi. Why did they give him a haircut? Mipnei kavod hamalchus. Malchus. Ish chayil. If you want to be someone who's a melech, you got to get your fresh fade. You got to get a fresh lineup. Very important to get a haircut. You don't want to go around mamish, all like wild. Like all kinky hair and the whole thing. It's got to be fresh. Ibnei kavod hamalchus. From melech malchem alochem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Very, very important. The yid has to be presentable and well kept. Let's just see one line in the next parsha, in the next aliyah. The Yomer Par Yosef, because we're not going to have more time this week, because our next shir is going to be on Zois Chanukah. It's on Monday. So we'll try to get in a little bit of the parsha now. The Yomer Par Yosef Chaloim Chalamti. Para says to Yosef, I had a dream. And there's nobody that can interpret this dream for me. And I heard about you, Lamor, that they say, that you know how to interpret dreams. This Jew boy knows how to interpret dreams. Tishma. Tishma doesn't mean, Rashi says, that people hear the words physically. Loshen havana v'hazona. It means people understand that when you say things, it's meaningful. What do the words Shema Yisrael mean? Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Hear O. What's an O?
It's like that word we keep on.
In Yiddish, we say Shema means not to hear, means to dare hear, understand. You're speaking to yourself. Understand. Yisrael. That's you. Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. That's my question. I don't know what it is. I think it means something emphatic. But Shema means understand this idea deeply. And you're speaking to yourself. Of course, you're speaking globally. You're speaking inwards. Understand this well. Shema doesn't mean just to physically hear something. It means to really deeply integrate something, feel something. Shema Yisrael. So they say that you know how to interpret dreams. The Yan Yosef is para lemor, bilo dai. You think I'm the one that does it? Look at this. Look at this. This is all of Torah right here. This is it. This is everything the Jew believes in. Elokim yane es shalom paroi. God will provide the explanation. He could have been like, yo, I'm the man, you're right. Nobody interprets dreams in Egypt like me. I'm your guy, Pharaoh. Says, me? I don't have anything. You know where it comes from? That's why I have this vibe. You tell me if you think it's a true vibe. But I have this vibe when like Patty Mahomes or something throws like 90 yards, and then one of these guys, some wide receiver, catches it, and he gets some like nifladika touchdown. He like dives one hand, and then afterwards he's like, I respect that. I couldn't have made that jumping, leaping catch without the echad yochad miyuchad haya hoyviyeh, without Hashem echad. And he's giving props to God at that moment. I respect that. Yeah.
Isn't it hard for someone that doesn't 100% know of Hashem's existence to give glory to God? Whereas in Yosef's case, he had a lot of question and could probably speak to God on a level that he can't. So of course he would say it is God because he knows that it's God. But for someone who doesn't know...
That's why I'm saying I respect that. I respect that wide receiver who points up to Shemayim and says, I couldn't have done that. I think it's emes. As long as he's not referring to some idol. He's saying that God Almighty gave me the power to leap through the air like some cheetah or something and catch this ball, this flying chazer through the air. That's what it is, Rabbi said. I think they're still made out of chazer, the good ones. I caught the chazer. Shkoyach.
I'm waiting for someone to drop a product on the field. That's gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get that.
Big in South America, like in football and soccer, most South American footballers, as soon as they score, they might go like this because like they do that in two things, but I'm saying they go immediately.
To be able to say that I couldn't have done this without God, I think is very respectful. Okay, Rabbi said last line, V'yidaber Pharaoh Yosef, and Pharaoh now says to Yosef, B'chaloimi hineni yomed al sfas hayor. Now it's interesting, Pharaoh says the dream again. You guys have to think, does anything change in when he says it? From the way that the Torah said it. Hine mine yaor oiloi sheva paris brios basar v'yafos toyar. There is changing of words. It's not flesh anymore, it's toyar. Brios basar. Before it was brios basar. Yafos mare. It starts with yafos mare and then brios basar. And here it goes. Brios basar v'yafos taris, switches, v'tirena ba'achu, and they're grazing in the marshlands. V'hine sheva paros acheres oilos acharein, dakos, v'ra'os toyer me'oid, v'rakos basar, ra'os toyer me'oid. Here it's ra'os mare, and here it says me'oid. Very much so. Paro's adding emphasis here. Lo yira'isi keheina b'chol eretz Mitzrayim lo roya. I never saw like this in Mitzrayim. V'toichalna haparos harakos v'arois. Es sheva haparos harishonis habriyos. V'tavoina el kirbena v'lo noida ki bo'u el kirbena u'mareim ra. Kasher betchila and I woke up. And I want you, Rabbi, to think about how Pharaoh changes it. You have today, you have tomorrow, Erev Shabbos. Think about the change between the way that Pharaoh speaks it out and the way that the Torah speaks it out. And the 7 stocks after that were not good, they're very sickly. And I told the necromancers, ve'ein magid li, and nobody told me something that I relate to. Now, Yosef is about to give his interpretation here. And I want you to think if Yosef has chutzpah. The Yom Yosef al Pare. And Yosef is speaking now to Paro. Chaloim Paro Echad. The dream of Pharaoh is one dream. Hu Eis Asher Ha Elohim Oise Higid La Paro. This that God wants to do, God is communicating to Paro. God is communicating through your dreams. Dreams are 1/60th of prophecy.
Is that why dreams don't have as much meaning anymore since prophecy was removed?
Dreams have meaning, but you have to know if you're having a true dream or a dream from the dark side, which we spoke about in Mishmar, or if your dream is really the sum total of the stuff that you were just looking at today, and it's some conglomeration of all your Instagram reels. And therefore be careful, because the dream may not be a true indication of what's going on. But here, Yosef says that God is speaking to Paro through his dream, and King Solomon, Shlomo Melech, says something very powerful, that Leiv Melochem B'Yad Hashem, that the heart of the kings is in God's hand, which means God will speak through kings to help move the world in certain directions. God will speak through kings, Yaakov.
That's why the Alter Rebbe stood up Sarah Russia came.
Mamish, because he knew Malchusa da Aras, Doimel Malchusa da Rekia. God is speaking to you, Paro. Sheva Paras HaToivus. What is the symbolism of these good cows? Sheva Shonim Hena. These are 7 good years. V'sheva shibalim ha'toivos, sheva shonim heina, chaloim echad hu. It's all one dream. V'sheva ha'poros ha'rakos, v'arois ha'oilos ha'acharein, sheva shonim heina, v'sheva shibalim ha'rekos, shipudim ha'dokim, yu l'sheva shnei rov. There's going to be 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. Hu ha'davar asher dibarti el paroi. This is what it is. Asher ha'elohim oise hera es paroi. God is trying to talk to you, Paroi. Hina sheva shanim ba'ois sava godel b'kol eretz Mitzrayim. 7 years of abundance is about to come to the land of Egypt. Mega levels of blessing is about to come to Egypt. V'kamu sheva shnei rav acharein v'nishka kol hasava be'eretz Mitzrayim. And then there's going to be 7 years of famine that are going to be so powerful and so devastational that you're going to completely forget all the years of plenty. V'chila hara v'sa'aretz. And it's going to totally take over the land. V'lo yevada asava ba'aretz mipnei aravahu acharechein. Ki kaved hu me'od. It's going to be such bad famine. V'al hi shanoi sachaloim el paroi pamayim. And this that God gave you this dream 2 times. Why did he repeat the dream? Ki nochan adavar mi'ima lakim umem. Because God's ready. Now, until Perik Mem Aleph Pasuk Lamed Gimel, I think that Yosef did what he was requested to do. Right? Provide an explanation. Did Paro ask for a strategy? Or he just asked for an explanation? He just asked for an explanation. And Yosef provided the explanation of the dream. But now, without missing a beat, there's a bit of chutzpah. Yosef is about to tell Paro what to do. This is more than he was asked to do. But this Jew boy, excuse my language, I'm just using the lashon of the Saramashkin. Nar, that's the boy. Ivri, Jew. That's where I got Jew boy from. I guess all the people that say that in a not nice way to the Jewish people, they're just quoting Psukim. They don't even realize. Quoting Rashi, they're all getting ready for Mashiach, that we're all going to be learning Torah. They didn't even realize they're quoting Psukim. As the Torah is going to be spreading around the world, as it is. as we're speaking right now.
Do you think the organism of Christianity did? Spread it around the world?
Very much so. That's one of the great blessings of Christianity, that they made the Torah so popular to billions of people.
It's amazing how Christianity was able to get rid of so much idol worship and destroy Rome.
Christianity has done tremendous service of bringing the world into a messianic awareness and bringing Torah into the mouths of so many people around the world. But now, anybody who opens up their local Orthodox Bible will see that Yosef is about to make a move here. Ve'ata yere paroi ish novoin ve'chocham. And now let Pharaoh find a person who's an understanding, wise person. He's telling Pharaoh what to do. V'yeshiseyu al eretz Mitzrayim, and appoint him to be a leader in Eretz Mitzrayim. V'yas Pharaoh. And Pharaoh did this. The first Jewish advisor to the king. And much blessing came. He listens to Yosef. Yosef gave unsolicited advice at this point. He was only hired to just say what the explanation was. He then provides a strategy of success.
That's only because Pharaoh appointed. I think. What was the order? Advice, then he appointed, or appointed and advice?
First, the advice. He gave unsolicited advice.
Where is the advice?
Go to Lamed Gimel. Lamed Gimel. Mike, it's Lamed Gimel. Now let Pharaoh seek out a discerning and wise man and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh proceed and let him appoint overseers on the land, and he shall prepare the land of Egypt during the 7 years of abundance. Yas is really still Yosef saying, you should do this. You just told Pharaoh what to do? It's a bit out of line. Yas is still going on Yosef. V'yikbetzu es kol oichel hashanim, and let them gather all of the grains of the years that are good. V'yitzperu bar, and they're going to put together all of the bounty under Yad Paroi oichel ba'orim v'shamoru, and we're going to store up the granaries. And then all of this abundance is going to be available during the years of famine. Because it is coming. And the land will not be cut down during the time of the famine. And now comes Para. And the matter was good in the eyes of Pharaoh. V'yomer Pharaoh lavodav, and Pharaoh said to his servants, Hanimtza kazeh ish asher ruach elkim bo. Is there such a person that the Spirit of God speaks upon him in all the land of Egypt? And the next Aliyah, he appoints him, and he becomes the second most powerful person in the entire world, on the same day that he was in the pits of despair. So Rabbi on Chanukah, you could mamish, you can go from the deepest darkness to the highest place. So we should be zoicha mamish to all the light of Chanukah. Amen v'amen. Amen. Let us say our Tehillim. Did Yosef Hunter sing that last night?
Yeah.
He did?
I was looking for the camera.
Wait, I sent a video in the chat.
Okay, send it to the boys.
I only had half of it though.
The voice at page 975.
Does anyone have a full
I was,
video?
when he started singing, I was trying to look for you.
Oh my goodness. I
So
told,
beautiful,
I told
right?
him afterwards it took me like another spiritual level.
Okay, so 975. Is there any other Sidurim for the Chevra here? Let's pass them around. We're so happy our friends are with us around the world in our global Bible studies group. It's a pleasure to have everybody. Psalm 121. Psalm 121, Rabbi Isai. So let's do our best with the light of Chanukah to open up our hearts right now. Oy shir lamalos es zaina yelearim me'ayin yavo ezri ve'im Adonai